सर्विक गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्ट महाभगवत श्री गौर किशोरदास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौरिय गुरु वर्ग की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद श्री भक्ति विज्ञान भारती गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद श्री भक्ति वल्लभ तीर्थ गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद श्री भक्ति दायित माधव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद श्री भक्ति प्रमोद पुरी गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद श्री भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर गोसाई महाराज की जय। All the associates of Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All the disciples and followers of those associates ki jai. Jai Srila Baladev Vijibhushan Prabhu ki jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai. Shri Narottam Srinivas Ramananda Prabhu Trai ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosai Par ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shard Gosai Prabhu ki jai. श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल कोड मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विदग्ध गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपीश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Vol. The transcendental Śikṣāṣtaka Kirtans by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Okay, let's do the Mangala Charan and we'll begin. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tividito Gaudiya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Maya Varatimingilo Daragatan Udrita Jiva Niman Krishna Prema Sudabdi Gahana Sukhang Pradat Prabhung Tang Bhaje Vande Bhakti Vinodang Shri Gaura Shakti Sarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajang Radha Rasa Sudhanidhim Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Vrishabhanusutan Vitavamatanung Yamuna Tatanagara Sutam Murali Kalagita Vinoraparang Bhajagodrumakanana Kunjavidum Smaragauragadadara Kelikalang Bhavagauragadadara Pakshachara Shrinugauragadadara Charukhatang Bhajagodrumakanana Kunjavidum Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vinam Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvang Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptascha Kamadhitaranga Madhe Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams. Everybody who's here. Amal Krishna Prabhu, Krishna Premavati Didi. And I see Raseshwari Mataji is there, Ganga Mataji. And I see there are 5 devotees watching on YouTube and Facebook right now. If you write a comment, I will see who you are. I'll see your name. I'm guessing Indira Mataji is there. Pranams to all the devotees watching in the future as well, like Shachi Devi, Jayadev Prabhu, Krishna Vallabha Didi, Ananda Pradayani Didi, Anuradha Mataji, Vrinda Didi, Krishna Mai Didi, and everybody else, Janava Didi if she's there. So we are continuing our Bhakti Vinod Kiti Dhara program. We're on the final week going through Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs on the glories of Nam, praying to Śrī Nāma, and also many songs that are filled with Nam, different names of Krishna. And today, the topic of today and also the topic for the day after tomorrow will be Śikṣāṣtaka. So, yeah, just right when I was doing the Mangalacharan right now, this thought came in my head, how really, on Haribol Madhubala Didi, Hare Krishna. Yeah, how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs, they are really a shelter for us. Like, they are an extension of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's own. It's directly because they are Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and they're Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in a way that can access us. Like if we're praying to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in our minds, then we might not know if what's happening, if I'm praying something and then I get some feeling or whatever. I don't know if that's actually my mind or Bhaktivinoda, but these songs are Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's direct words. These are him that we can depend on. We know it's not just our minds. They are directly him. And if we can really look at the songs in that way, like see how they are Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself, and then connect with him on a personal level, that these songs, and let the songs pray for these songs to be able to access us. Pray to our Guru Varga, because these songs have already fully, our Guru Varga, like all those Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, all of his different associates, our Srila Prabhupada, our Srila Gurudev, all these acharyas, they are fully connected with these songs. And we want to have that connection with the songs like they have. And so we pray to them. We pray to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, please, I'm blocking these songs from touching me. Please help me to connect to these songs like you're connected to them. And then they are the ultimate shelter and friends that always has our back. No matter, even if we've fallen into a very low state of consciousness, we've gone really far off the path, we've fallen, we're in our lowest moment. If we approach these songs with that mood of desperation, that's the thing also, if there's a friend and you're depending on that friend, and you're not depending on anybody else, but you're really going to that friend, I need your help, then the friends will, I'm there for you. And then it's the same thing with the songs. If we actually go to the songs, no matter what state we're in, but with that mood of dependence, I'm depending on you, help me. I give up with all my other attempts to, I'm now just help you, please help me. Then the songs will give us all the support and all the help that we could ever wish for, because they're Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself. And so, it's just that thought that whatever happens to me in this world, whatever my mind does, whatever stupid mistake I've made, these songs are there to give me all support. And I have this dear friends that will give me that, a safe place for me, that will give me shelter. When everybody rejected me, when everybody's upset with me, whatever happens, no matter what, these songs are there for me, and they will give me all the help I need. Okay. So to Haribol Sarve Shri Mataji. So Śikṣāṣṭakam. So originally, the Śikṣāṣṭakam are the only prayers of Mahaprabhu that we have with us now. The only written words of Mahaprabhu, only words that have been recorded exactly word for word what Mahaprabhu actually spoke, that were composed by Mahaprabhu. And these Śikṣāṣṭakam prayers, they originally appeared in Srila Rupa Goswami's Padyavali. And they're all throughout Padyavali, and in a different order, also not the order that we're used to, how those 8 verses in that particular order. But in Padyavali, some verses are close to the beginning of Padyavali. Padyavali is Rupa Goswami's book filled with an anthology of different verses from different devotees and compiled all together. And so some verses of Śikṣāṣṭakam are at the beginning of Padyavali, some are at the end, some are, a couple towards the closer to the beginning. They're just scattered all over in a different order also than the Śikṣāṣṭakam. And so then Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he took those verses of Śikṣāṣṭakam and he sequenced it in a very particular way. And so throughout all time, these are the only direct words of Mahaprabhu that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas had. So they were always very dear to the most dear thing to the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. But then it was only at the time of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur that it was revealed actually how deep these verses of Śikṣāṣṭakam are, what's contained within the verses of Śikṣāṣṭakam. That it's not just beautiful prayers, but it's actually a highly sophisticated methodologies, the pranali, bhajan pranali, that for attaining siddha, it's the siddha pranali. It's for the pranali means the methodology, the system, the process, the exact the very clear guide for how we go from the beginning stage, right when we start on the path, day 1, when we start on the path, Chaito Darpana Marjanam, and every step along the way, Śikṣāṣṭakam gives the entire methodology. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and each verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam is Bhaktivinoda Thakur paired each verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam with each pair of names in the Mahamantra. And then each stage in the development from Shraddha up to Bhav. And then there are 2 tiers of Śikṣāṣṭakam as well. There's the tier for the sadhak, for someone who's not attained rati or bhav. It's called the ajata rati sadhak. And then there's another tier for those who have attained bhav. And when somebody's attained bhav, then these verses of Śikṣāṣṭakam now relate to the 8-fold pastimes, the pastimes that Krishna performs throughout the 8 periods of the day. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave us a whole book, Bhajan Rahasya, which walks us through, reveals that guide and gives us so many different verses. And he also writes his own Bengali verses in between each Sanskrit verse. Then he writes his own Bengali verses, which are like glue, which glues the verses together so that we can understand the flow of the verses. And he also gives his own deep explanations and which point in the verse to give emphasis on, and so then it all of a sudden makes sense. Without Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Bengali verses in between, it wouldn't make sense, the sequence of Sanskrit verses. And so we're so lucky that now we actually have a very highly developed, clear guide from Mahaprabhu, and we have the key for how to actually unlock it and see what's there and actually follow this process. I'm just looking at the comments really quickly. I see Sundar Gopal Prabhu is there from the Bhaktivedanta Research Center, disciple of Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj, my dear friend. And he said, Hare Krishna, so beautifully said. These songs are truly a shelter for us. Everything he has expressed through these divine compositions is for the welfare of the jivas. Even by simply reading these songs and their meanings, one can understand so clearly how perfectly he has conveyed everything through them. Each song carries deep compassion and spiritual truth, offered for the upliftment of all souls. Wow, beautifully said. Wow. And Haribol Vangsiwala Prabhu. Haribol. So let's look at in Bhajan Rahasya, at the very beginning of Bhajan Rahasya, he verse 10, he gives there's a series of verses here. Okay. I know in Chaitanya Gaudiya Math, they sing this every day throughout Kartik. They begin the day with this. I heard a recording of Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj going through this, explaining it also. But beginning the process. First, before we even, right when at the very beginning, we're not able to chant the name. We just have the Namabhas. But even the Namabhas is so helpful. And of course, we don't want to chant Namabhas. We want to chant the pure name. But at least the very beginning, this is when we're only able to chant Namabhas, this is what happens. So there's this verse, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives this verse right before the first verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam. So, since it's getting late, let's read Sanskrit. Tang nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhe pavana pavananam shraddharajan matiratitaram uttama shlokamolim prodyan anta karanakuhare hantayan nama bhanor abhasopi kshapayati mahapataka dvantarashim. This is quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Rupa Goswami. So the meaning is, O treasure of virtue, O treasure house of virtues, O Gunanidhe, worship him without duplicity. Worship him who is the purifier of all purifiers, the crest jewel of those praised and exalted verses. Oh, worship him with a mind fully imbued with faith, with Shraddha. Even the faintest glimmer of the sun-like radiance of his name rising within the core of the heart dispels the vast darkness of grievous sin. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he translates this verse like this. Parama Pavana Krishna Tahar Charan, Nishkapat Shraddha Saha Koroho Bhajan. Jar Nama Surya Bhasa Antare Praveshi, Dhvangsha Kore Mahapap Andhakar Rashi. Krishna is supremely purifying. He is Parama Pavan. Worship his feet with pure-hearted faith. Nishkapat Shraddha. Koroho Bhajan. And worship who? Worship that Krishna, whose name, Jarana, means whose name, when the Surya Bhas, when the Abbas, when the glow of his name. So before the sun rises, we see on the horizon, before the sun rises, there's a glow, and that glow is this Abbas, right? So just that Abbas, that semblance, the glow of Krishna's name, when that enters the heart, then Dhvangsha-kore Mahapap Andhakara Rashi. It dispels the Dhvangsha-kore, dispels the Mahapap Andhakara Rashi, the deep darkness of Mahapap, of the most grievous sins, the greatest sins that we've ever performed. Just the Nam Abbas destroys that, removes that darkness. So now the methodology of Śrī Śikṣāṣtaka. E Śikṣāṣṭake kohe Krishna lila kram, ihate bhajana krame lilar udgam. So this Śikṣāṣtaka, it describes, it tells Krishna lila kram. It tells the sequence of Krishna's pastimes. So ultimately, all of Krishna's pastimes are contained within Śikṣāṣtakam, all throughout the 8 periods of the day. And ihate bhajana krame lilar udgam. Ihate, in this Śikṣāṣtaka, through the bhajan kram, through the systematic process of bhajan, lilar udgam, these pastimes of Krishna will start to arise within us. And right, because through Nam comes Rup, Gun, and then finally Lila. And so as we make progress in our spiritual life, and our anarthas are starting to be destroyed by this process, to that degree that they're being destroyed, to that degree we're understanding our identity and understanding our relationship with Krishna and our specific relationship with Krishna, and then finally Krishna's Rup, Gun, and finally the Lila. And so this Śikṣāṣtakam contains all of that. And so then once we've attained that, the Lila, then we'll see how in all these verses of Śikṣāṣtakam they're revealing Krishna's pastimes. But first, pratam shlok. First, we cultivate the pratam shlok bhajo kichudin. So kichudin, for some days, pratame, at the beginning, we worship, or we cultivate the pratam shlok, the first shlok of Śikṣāṣtakam. And actually, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur shows how this first verse of Śikṣāṣtakam also contains everything in the next 7 verses. So the first verse is also kind of like a map of the whole Śikṣāṣtakam. Has 7 excellent results, right? We'll go through that. So for some days, really just focus on the first verse, and then dvitiya shlokete tabe hoto praveen. And then you'll become praveen, you'll become experienced in the dvitiya shloka, in the second shloka. Tabe means then. And then, chari shloke kramasha bhajana pakva koro. Then to the first 4 verses, gradually bring your bhajan to maturity, pakva koro. Bring it to maturity. And then, in the 5th verse, in the pancham shlok, Nija Siddha Deha Varo. In the 5th verse, we embrace realization. You embrace realization of your self-realized form, your Siddha Deha. And I just want to look at Vaijayanti Mala Mataji. She made this chart, which shows this how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur organized the bhajan, like these, the bhajan rahasya. So we see here there are the pairs of names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And these pairs of names relate, each verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam relates to these names. So first is Nishanta, right? Nishanta means the end of night. So for us sadhaks, the end of night means when our night represents ignorance, and the end of the night when the sun is just about to rise. But before the sun, you can see the sun, the sky is becoming, starting to brighten, and that is namabhas, right? Like what we were just reading in that verse. And this signifies the state of Shraddha. This Shraddha is the first glimpse of our eternal identity that we get. And so Shraddha, I'm starting to have faith. Yes, this is, and Shraddha is also synonymous with Sharanagati, right? So Shraddha isn't just like a feeling, but it's actually like it's backed up by actual surrender. Like if you actually have faith, then you're going to actually try to follow these instructions and to surrender your life and like that. So Shraddha and Sharanagati, they go, they're two sides of the same coin. And in the first verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam, this process of Cheto Darpana Marjanam begins, cleaning the mirror of the heart. Right now, the mirror of the heart is covered with so many layers of different anarthas and these different identities that we've had over unlimited lifetimes, and they're blocking. So then we can't see ourselves. Our self is not reflected when we look into the mirror of the heart. All we see is heaps of dust. And so this Cheto Darpana Marjana means this Krishna Nam Sankirtan is slowly cleaning off all these layers until we can actually see what our true identity is. But the very first thing of our eternal nature that comes to us is Shraddha. And so then this relates also to the full first verse of the Śikṣāṣṭaka. And then we come to the second verse, which is Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala in Śikṣāṣṭakam. And this is also more Cheto Darpana Marjanam. This verse, the second verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam, is more of that. And this signifies the Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, and Anartha Nivritti. So we're in Sadhu Sangha. Once we have Shraddha, then we can begin associating with sadhus. And then when we're with the sadhus, they tell us how the process of bhajan. So we engage in bhajana kriya, in the association of sadhus, under the guidance. And once we engage in the process of bhajan, then anarthas will start to flee away from our heart. And so this is more cleaning of our heart, right? That's anartha nivritti, cleaning our heart. And so that's, and in that verse, Mahaprabhu is saying, my misfortune is that you've given me all these names, but I have no anurag for them. This is my misfortune. And actually the word durdaiva means, this word misfortune, also means anartha. Anartha also means misfortune, right? Artha means fortune, treasure, and anartha means misfortune. So, and then we come to the third verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam. This third verse, Trinarapi Sunichena, to be humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, giving all honor to others and not wanting any honor for ourselves. This is the stage of Nishta. This is when we become fixed, right? Because at the stage of Nishta, what does it say? If you follow those four things, then Kirtaniya Sadahari, then you'll be chanting all the time. You have Nishta, you're firm in chanting. You're not going to be sometimes chanting, sometimes not chanting. No, you'll be very fixed in your chanting, immovable like a mountain, just can't be pushed. That's Nishta. And this is when you see this as like giving all honors to others properly and not wanting any honor for yourself. That's when you can actually truly begin to honor Vaishnavas. Before this stage, you're not honoring Vaishnavas, and that is actually the biggest offense. That's the biggest block for our chanting the holy name. But on this third stage, when you're able to tolerate everything that happens to you, you're humble, you're giving honor to the Vaishnavas, you're not wanting any honor for yourself. That's when the offenses are destroyed, and that's when you're able to chant Kirtaniya Sadahari. That's Nishta. And it's at this time that in the first verse of Śikṣāṣtakam, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, that are the blazing fire of material existence is now being put out. This is now all our suffering, all these suffering that we're going through in this material world, now it's being put out by this Nam. Now Nam is finally able to touch us, just like in the first, Gurudev Kripa Bindudiya, Sakale Saman Korite Shakati Deho Nata Jata, give me the power, O Gurudev, so that I can honor everybody accordingly. That's this third verse of Śikṣāṣtakam, right? Amani Manada. And then Tabito Gaibo Harinam Suke. Then finally I'll be able to chant Harinam happily. Harinam will finally be able to start reaching me and making it and doing its work. And that's when Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. That's when the fire is starting to be put out, because aparad habehata, right? All my offenses are now being destroyed. And then after that, we come to na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. We come to the fourth verse of Śikṣāṣtakam. And this, now we come to ruchi. For the sadhak, now they're getting, after this nishta, now they're starting to get some taste. It's not that they're just really steady, but now they're actually starting to relish it. And it's at this stage of relishing that you don't want na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam va jagarishkam. I don't want any wealth. I don't want any followers or any of my relations or family or friends or my wife or anything like that. Na sundarim kavitva. I don't want this beautiful poetry, everything that's expressed through poetic words, all the words of the Vedas, which give me all these results. If I do this, then I can get that, and all these promises that I read in other books, self-help books and whatever, all this, anything that's attainable through these flowery words and all that. I don't want none of it. I only want one thing, because I'm tasting something so much better. So that's ruchi. I'm tasting all this, and so automatically everything else that you used to have ruchi for, all of a sudden becomes disgusting to you, because you have ruchi for something, you have a higher taste. So and that is now finally we're coming to the first positive thing. Before in Śikṣāṣtakam, it was all cleaning off the dirt and putting out the forest fire, and now at ruchi is when the positive thing, that's Shreya Kairava, in the first verse of Śikṣāṣtakam, that's Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. The moonbeams of Shreya, of our ultimate good fortune, is falling on it's going on these moonbeams are reaching the lotus of good fortune, and that white lotus is starting to bloom. And so that is ruchi. At the stage of ruchi, these moonbeams are finally reaching us and making our heart, our good fortune bloom. And then we come to asakti. This is verse 5, asakti. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam budo. And it's at this stage of asakti that we start to get a glimpse of vidya vadu jivanam. In the first verse of Śikṣāṣtakam, we start to get some understanding, because this is the life of transcendental knowledge, right? Which is like a bride. The bride of Harinam Sankirtan, is this transcendental knowledge, vidya. It's the life of that. And so then we start to get real vidya, and we start to understand who I truly am. And it's at this stage that we pray this verse from Śikṣāṣtakam. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam budo. Oh Nanda Nandan, oh son of Nanda, I've been Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam. I've fallen into this ocean of material existence, and please place me as just a dust particle at your lotus feet. And so then let's go back to this right here. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Pancham shlokete nija siddha deha varo. So at this stage of asakti, vidya vadu jivanam, when we start to get this transcendental knowledge, we start to understand who we really are. And then this prayer comes, and let's see, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Oy shloke. So this fifth verse, Ainanda tanuja kinkaram, siddha dehe radha padashray. In this verse, you begin to take shelter of Sri Radha's lotus feet in your siddha deha. So we're starting to get a little connection, like a little glimpse of our Siddha Deha. We aren't yet qualified to act in our Siddha Deha, but we're just beginning to realize our Siddha Deha, and it's at that stage that we really take shelter of Shri Radha's feet. In that verse, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, it's Mahaprabhu praying in the mood of Srimati Radhika that, please make me a dust particle at your lotus feet, right? To Krishna. But for us in our Gaudiya line, for this verse, we're taking shelter of Srimati Radhika's feet with this fifth verse. And it's at this stage, Arambha Koriya Krame Unnati Udoy. It's at this stage that our spiritual advancement really gradually awakens. Now we're like shooting off to Bhav right here. This is when it really begins. When we're starting to understand what our Siddha Deha is, that's when you're really, And then Choy Shloka Bhajite Anartha Dure Gelo. Then practicing the sixth verse. So this sixth verse, which is Nayanam Galad Ashuddharaya. These are the external symptoms of Bhav, right? Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. This is now when in the first verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam, this ocean it's Vardhan, this ocean of Bhav, of Ananda, of bliss, is now starting to expand. Right, we've now started to get a glimpse of our Siddha Deha as at Asakti. We've taken shelter of Shri Radha's lotus feet, and now this ocean of bliss is just increasing and increasing and increasing. And it's at this stage that the external symptoms of Bhav are manifest, which is shown through this sixth verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam. Nayanam Galar Ashuddharaya. These are all the symptoms of Bhav, right? And it's at this stage when our anarthas are gone. We have no more anarthas. They are dure gelo. They've been driven far away. And tabe jano siddha deha. And now then you know that siddha deha adhikar hoilo. Now you've actually attained. You're qualified for your siddha deha. Adhikar nala bhiya siddha deha bhave. If one meditates on one's siddha deha without this qualification. Adhikar nalabhiya, not having attained this qualification, siddha deha bhave. If one tries to meditate on the siddha deha, then viparjaya buddhi janme shaktir abhave. Then a mistaken understanding, a backwards understanding, janme will arise. Why? Because shaktir abhave, we don't have the power, we don't have the strength. It will be completely artificial. We have a lack, abhav, of shakti. So that's why savdhane kram dharo. Savdhane, very carefully, kram dharo, follow the step-by-step path. Dharo means hold on or follow this kram, this sequence. Jadi siddhi chao. If you want to attain perfection, jadi means if you want siddhi, chao means, jadi chao means if you want siddhi, then sadur charita dekhi shuddha buddhi pao. Then by observing the charita, Dekhiya means by observing the sadhu charita, the conduct of sadhus, shuddha buddhi pao, then you'll obtain shuddha buddhi, purified intelligence. Not this viparjaya buddhi, by acting not in your qualification, but if we actually observe the character and follow the instructions of sadhus, then you'll get shuddha buddhi. And then siddha deha pe krame bhajana korile. And then, having received your siddha deha and practice bhajan in the proper kram, then ashtakala seva sukh, the bliss, the happiness of seva throughout ashtakala, throughout the 8 periods of the day, anayase mile, effortlessly, without any effort, just easily, mile, you'll get that service, your eternal service, to the specific service in your siddha deha to Radha and Krishna. Throughout the 8, whatever that service is, you'll get that effortlessly if we just follow the Śikṣāṣṭakam by observing this character of the sadhus, following the instructions of the sadhus. So therefore, Śikṣāṣṭaka chinta koro smarana kirtan. Contemplate this Śikṣāṣṭaka. Go deep into it. And koro smara, and following this process, meditating, contemplating the Śikṣāṣṭaka, then smaran kirtan. Engage in smaran and kirtan. And then, krame, gradually, ashtakala seva, your service throughout the 8 periods of the day, habe uddipan, will be awakened. And Sakala anartha jabe, pabe premdan. All anarthas will vanish, your heart will be freed from all anarthas, and then there'll be a clean place and the treasure of prem, you'll attain that treasure of prem, which is the 5th and topmost goal of life. And then the Chaturvarga and the other 4 goals of life, which everybody is aspiring for in this world, they will feel once you've gotten this 5th goal, the prem, pancham purushartha, right? This prem. And then all the 4 mundane goals of life will appear useless, worthless, falguprai, and habe adarshan. They will fade from view. You won't even know they exist. They'll just become, you won't even be able to see them anymore. It'll be adarshan. So this is the methodology of Śikṣāṣṭakam that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives us in Bhajan Rahasya. And it's just amazing, though, isn't it? Like how these verses, how the first verse relates to all the next verses of Śikṣāṣṭakam, and how they relate to all the stages. And we were just looking at how this relates to somebody for the sadhak. But then for somebody in whom rati has arisen, there's a whole other meaning to these verses, and that's all described on this chart. And so, we didn't even get to the last 2 verses. But so this verse, Nayanam Galara Shuddharaya, these are all the symptoms, right? You're like, when will a shower of tears fall from my eyes, and Galara Shuddharaya, and my voice become choked, and as I chant, so these are all external symptoms of bhav. And then the next verse are the internal symptoms of bhav. Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha. These are now the internal symptoms. And this all relates to pratipadam purnamrita swadanam. And then finally, we come to the ultimate top. This is prem, ashlisha. This is prem bhajan. This ashlisha vapararatang pinashtumam. And it's at this stage that sarvatma snapanam, that we become so fully immersed, like this ocean of ananda has arisen, and we've and we're tasting nectar at every step, and then it completely washes away. Sarva atma snapanam. It completely washes away fully our entire being, and it washes away this material body. And so now, before this stage, there's Swarup Siddhi, right? In Bhav, there's Swarup Siddhi. We've attained the perfection of understanding our Swarup. We're able to even engage in that Swarup. But then at the stage of Prem, that's when we attain Vastu Siddhi, which means it's even our whole material body and everything is washed away. That means we've given up our material bodies, never to return to this world. That is all a forgotten dream. And now we are at Vastu Siddhi. We've taken birth in Bhoma Vrindavan, within this material, transcendental Vrindavan, in the pastimes from the womb of a gopi, in Krishna's pastimes. That's full washing off our material body. Sarvatma Snapanam. And now we don't have anything else. And that's Ashlisha Vapararatang Vinashtumam. That's Prem Bhajan. So this is all contained within Śikṣāṣṭakam. This is the first tier of Śikṣāṣṭakam that we went through. And then the next tier, I'm not talking about that. But yeah. So without Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we wouldn't have understood how everything is in Śikṣāṣṭakam. It is the method, the full process is Śikṣāṣṭakam. So I went way too long just going through this. Let's now go through, let's see, maybe we can get through a couple of songs. On Haribol, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Chatamai Mataji, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, and everybody else who just joined. Alright, so let's go to the first verse. And I really like this verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, verse 68 of the very last chapter. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Prabhur Śikṣāṣṭak Shlok Jay Pore Shune Krishne Prem Bhakti Tar Bare Dine Dine. For those who read or hear the Lord Śikṣāṣṭak verses, Prem Bhakti for Shri Krishna increases day by day. If you want this to increase day by day, then every day you have to recite the Śikṣāṣṭak. In Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says at the beginning of the chapter, he says, only the most fortunate relish Gaurachandra's incoherent talk, which is mixed with joy, jealousy, agitation, humility, and distress, all arising from prema. Okay, so the first song. Okay, so maybe we'll just recite this verse. The 7 excellent results of Shri Krishna Sankirtan. Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam Vidyavado jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam Purnamrita swadanam Sarvatma snapanang parang vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. One thing I forgot to mention, in these verses here, these verses come right before this Chetodarpana Marjanam verse in Bhajana Hasya, you'll notice this word kram 6 times. I counted it. Krame, 1. Kramasha, 2. Krame, again, 3. Like that. I went through it. There's 6 times. Kram, 4. Kram, 5. Kram, 6. So 6 times he's using this word kram. Kram means step by step, sequence, following so not we everything should be natural. Nothing should be forced or artificial, but we do everything from whatever stage we're at, and we follow the sequence, the step-by-step process, and that's all given in Śikṣāṣṭakam. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur unlocks the secrets behind this Śikṣāṣṭakam and how to actually be able to follow this really step-by-step in his Bhajana Hasya. So this first song, Pita Varana Kali Pavana Gora Gawai Aichana Bhava Vibhora. So Shri Gaur Hari, who is Kali Pavana, he is the savior of the age of Kali. He has a Pita Varna, which means he has a golden complexion. He's taken the complexion of Srimati Radhika, right? So he has this golden complexion. He's Gawai. He sings Aichana like such, in this way, as follows. Bhava Vibhora, completely overwhelmed with Bhav Vibhora. So what is he singing? Mahaprabhu sings Chitta Darpana Parimarjanakari. That which cleanses, parimarjan means full cleansing of the chitta darpan, the heart mirror, the mirror of the heart. Kari means it's doing that. What is doing that? This Krishna Kirtana Jai. All glories to this Krishna Kirtan, which cleanses this mirror of the heart, and chitta vihari. It delights the soul. Chitta vihari. So even from the very beginning, when we're just cleansing the heart, even at the very beginning stage, it's chitta vihari, it's delighting the soul. And then, all glories to Shri Krishna Kirtan, which hela bhava dava nirvapana vritti. So hela means even indifferently, without, this is namabhas, right? When we're not even fully, we're still chanting indifferently. This is... Even then, bhava dava nirvapana vritti. It has the tendency it has this function. Vritti means function, yeah. Function to the bhava dava, which means bhava means material existence. Dava is the force fire. Nirvapana. It puts out that fire. It extinguishes that fire. Even hela, even when performing namabhas. So Krishna Kirtana Jai, all glories to that Krishna Kirtan, which klesha nivritti, which ends all, nivritti means it puts an end to all kinds of klesh, We know in Madhuri Kadambini it talks about the Panchaklesh, right? That is avidya, asmita, rag, dvesh, abhinivesh. So all of that. Remember, this is the stage of nishta. And then this is the first positive thing that comes, right? This is the stage of ruchi. So shreya kumuda vidu jyotsna prakash. So the vidu jyotsna. Vidhu means the moon, jyotsna means the beams, the rays of the moon. So vidu jyotsna means moonbeams. And it prakash, it illuminates that. It manifests these moonbeams, the vidu jyotsna, the moonbeams of Shreya. These moonbeams of Nam shine down on the kumud, on the white lotus of Shreya, of good fortune. And so then this white lotus, when the moonbeams touch this Shreya Kumuda, this white lotus of good fortune, then it begins to bloom. And this is a stage of asakti, right? When we're starting to get some glimpse of our Siddha Deha, it's just beginning. And then Krishna Kirtana Jaya. So all glories to that Krishna Kirtan, which is Bhakti Vilas, which is the Vilas, the loving pastime of Bhakti. And I think there are much deeper meanings for each one of these last two words here that I don't fully know. But anyways, whatever. That's the thing with Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs, they give you more. The more deeper you go, like the more you sing them, then the more meanings are revealed to you. They always expand. But then, Vishuddha Vidyavadu Jivana Rupa. Now this Krishna Kirtan is the Vishuddha Vidya. Vishuddha means completely it's not just Shuddha Vidya, not just pure intelligence, but Vishuddha Vidya. That means it goes beyond Vaikuntha even. this complete transcendental knowledge. It's this Krishna Kirtan is the which is like this Vidya, which is the bride of this Krishna Kirtan. It's the consort of Krishna Kirtan. It's this Krishna Kirtan is the life of that bride of Vidya. And so that's our life. This now life is being infused into us. And Krishna Kirtana Jaya, all glories to that Krishna Kirtan, which Siddha Swarup, which is the embodiment of perfection. But we also know Siddha refers to our Siddha Deha, right? So this Krishna Kirtan, it brings about our Siddha Deha. This is the stage of Bhav now. No, this is the stage of Asakti. No, I'm right. This is a stage of Bhav. And these are the external symptoms of Bhav, right? Nayanam galarashudharaya, like that. Yeah. Just double checking that I was right about that. Okay, sorry, I was wrong. So this Shreya Kumuda Vidu, this was the stage of Ruchi, right? That's when the white lotus is starting to bloom. That's the stage of Ruchi. And now we're just immersed in this loving pastime of bhakti, this delight of bhakti, right? Vilas, in the Samsara Bengali dictionary, it says Vilas is enjoying milk and honey or something like that. It's kind of funny. But yeah, that's when we have some ruchi, right? And now Vishuddha Vidyavadu, this is asakti, when we're starting to get this transcendental knowledge, understanding who I truly am in my relationship with Krishna. We're starting to get a glimpse of that. And so it's starting to reveal our Siddha Swarup. And then, Ananda Payonidhi Vardhana Kirti Krishna Kirtana Jai Plavana Murti. All glories to this Krishna Kirtan, which Ananda Payonidhi Vardhana Kirti. Its Kirti is glorified for Vardhan, for increasing this Payonidhi, this ocean of Ananda. And so all glories of this Krishna Kirtan. Krishna Kirtana Jai Plavana Murti, which is the Murti, is the very embodiment of this Plavan, of this deluge of prem. We're just being, there's so much deluge that's coming in us that this Payonidhi is Vardhan. This ocean is increasing. And then, so this is the external symptoms of Bhav, right? When you're just this this ocean is expanding, and then you're just, all these emotions are coming out. You're experiencing the sattvika vikara. Nayanam galarashudharaya, vadanam gadgadurudaigira. And then pade pade piyusha swada pradata. Then pade pade means at every step, this Krishna Kirtan is pradata. It's the bestower of piyusha swad. Of swad means relishing, tasting this piyush, this nectar. So Krishna Kirtana Jaya, all glories to that Krishna Kirtan, Prema Vidata, which is prem. The Krishna Kirtan is prem for Vidata, for the Supreme Lord, Supreme Controller. And then the last verse, Bhakti Vinod Swapna Snapana Vidhan. Krishna Kirtana Jaya, Prema Nidhan. Bhakti Vinod, he's saying that Bhakti Vinod Swatma Snapan Vidhan. This Krishna Kirtan, God, how do you translate Vidhan here? I don't actually know. Anyways, whatever. I'm just gonna. But Swatma Snapana, he completely, fully immerses, bathes the Swatma, his own very self of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So all glories to this Krishna Kirtan, which is Prema Nidan. It's the root cause of Prem. Because as we know, with this last verse, this is when it washes away our material body. And it's not just Sarup Siddhi, but then we get Vastu Siddhi. Our material body is washed away. We no longer have any connection with this material world. No material body. Now we have taken birth from the womb of a gopi. That's Vastu Siddhi. And that's when because Prem can't be contained within this body, right? It can only reach the stage of Bhav within this body, but then to get to Prem, we have to shed this material body. And then we have to take birth from the womb of a gopi. That's when we actually begin from Prem. And then from Prem, there's a whole other set of stages. Prem, Snehar, Man, Pranay, Rag, Anurag, Bhav, Mahabhav, like that. So, such a deep song. And it's 8 o'clock now, so that's our program for today. I guess tomorrow we will celebrate Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's appearance day, his Vyasa Puja, and Srila Gaura Govinda Goswami Maharaj's disappearance day. And it's also the appearance day of Srila Bhakti Bhudev Shoti Goswami Maharaj. So maybe we could read just like a little tiny bit about him. We'll spend most of the time reading about Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada and reading a little bit about Srila Gaura Govinda Goswami Maharaj. And then the day after tomorrow, we will go through the rest of the verses. I think I'll just go through the verses very quickly. I spent most of the time just giving like an introduction to Śikṣāṣṭaka, but then we'll just kind of breeze through the other verses the day after tomorrow. And then the day after that, Manju Lali Didi will be joining us for a couple days to go through the Namashtak songs. So we'll end here. Maybe we can just sing this once through and sing Mahamantra, and then we'll end. Okay. Pitavarana Kali Pavana Gora Gawai Aichana Bhava Vibhora Chitta Darpana Pari Marjana Kikari Krishna Kirtana Jaya Chitta Vihari Hela Bhavadavanir Vapanavriti Krishna Kirtana Jaya Klesha Nivriti Shreya Kumuda Vidho Jyotsna Prakasha Krishna Kirtana Jaya Bhakti Vilasa Vishuddha Vidya Vadhu Jivana Rupa Krishna Kirtana Jaya Siddha Swarupa Ananda Payo Nidhi Vardhana Kirti Krishna Kirtana Jai Plavanamurti Pade Pade Piyusha Swada Pradata Krishna Kirtana Jai Prema Vidata Bhakti Vinoda Swatma Snapana Vidhana Krishna Kirtana Jai Prema Nidana Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Jai. I'm just seeing Sundar Gopal's comment here. He says, that's why Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj used to say, Gaudiya Mat minus Bhakti Vinod Thakur equals to 0, 0, 0. Yes. 100%. We owe everything to Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shila Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Shila Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupano Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Jai Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Thakur's Śikṣāṣtaka ki Jai, his Bhajan Rahasya ki Jai. His Śikṣāṣtaka songs ki Jai, his Bhajan Rahasya ki Jai. Jai Shri Hari Nāma Sankirtan ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyaya Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, dear devotees. Nri Hariprabhu, I see you unmuted your mic. Is there something you'd like to share?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I? No, that was okay. Just Dandavat pranams to you and the devotees assembled. Thank you so much.
Dandavat pranams, Haribol. Hare Krishna. So pranams Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, and Amal Krishna Prabhu, Sarveshwari Mataji, Krishna Premavati Didi, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, and Chatamai Mataji. Oh, I didn't see Rukmini Didi there. Haribol, Rukmini Didi. And let's see on YouTube and Facebook. Oh, just one quick announcement. I'll look on YouTube to see who's there in a second, but just before anybody goes, I just want to quickly say, today I'm going to be doing my first pilot run of the of this Bhakti Vinod Gita Dhara classes, and I have to be really on top of my time. Like I have to condense things into like 10 minute little or 5-minute chunks, and so I'm going to be doing my first test run here in where I'm staying right now, Bhaktivedanta Kunj in Mayapur. I've made an announcement on the Mayapur forum, and I think there'll be like maybe 15 or 20 devotees joining here, just different devotees that I don't know from ISKCON and different places. And but then I wanted to do an online test run as well, so that I can try it twice. And so if anybody would like to join that, I will be starting that on February 8th. which I think in America, like on the other side of the world, would be the 7th in the morning time. I'll do it at sometime in the evening time here. I'll put in our WhatsApp Bhaktivinoda Kitidhara WhatsApp group. I'll put the details of like what time I'm thinking. Probably later night would work for most people for most time zones. But yeah, it'll be a 5-day program. So from February 8th till the 12th, and it will be a 1-hour program, no longer than an hour. And I'm going to go through everything that we've been going through these past 5 weeks. I need to condense it all together. And these programs will be very interactive. So it won't be like my normal programs where I'm just like talking the whole time, but there'll be exercises. There will be, there'll be journaling things. There'll be, at some parts you'll be like breakout rooms, and you'll discuss things with other people. You'll select your song, and it'll be a lot more interactive. And so if anybody would like to join that test run of my Bhaktivinoda Kitidhara thing, let me know. Rukmini Didi saying yes. Oh, that's great. I'll put the details. I need to figure out the details first, and I'll put the details in our WhatsApp group, and see if you can join. And Amal Kushru says yes. Yes, Sarveshwari Mataji, yes.
But Prabhu, depend of the time. Depend which time you will do. I would like to go, but depend of the time. Because I would like to do, but here is different, so many hours difference.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Like Australia is a really difficult time zone because it's what is it like 5 hours ahead, and
5 hours and a half, something like that.
And the thing is, I don't want to stop this morning program that we're doing right now. And
so you want to do in the evening? You will want to do in the evening?
Which will be like in the middle of the night for you. Oh God, we have to figure this out. Yeah. Oh.
No, that's okay. That's okay. You go on. I will see if I can make it even sometime. I will see.
Or maybe we can record it, and then you could watch it later on. I could try doing that. I could try recording the sessions, and then I can share the video with you. I won't make the video public, but I could share it with you. So then you could still follow like in the...
Yeah. So put the time. I will see what can I do.
And this Bhaktivinoda Kitidhara thing, I'm like, I really want to make it like, I want to get better and better and better at it, and get really good with time, and so these are like my test runs, so that I'm just like learning how to do it and everything. But I want to do it a bunch of times so that I'm like really good at like knowing what to say, how to keep the time, how to make it engaging, and the like I'll see what works, what doesn't work, and I want to like really polish it, and then I'd like to do it a lot. Like in the future, I want to do it a bunch of times. Maybe we can do the morning session, and we'll do it, Actually, I have ideas for like, anyways, whatever. I shouldn't talk about it before I, but yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm just looking at the, I'm just seeing who's there on YouTube and Facebook. I forgot to do that. Let's see. Dandavat Pranams, Shri Mataji, Ganga Mataji, Madhubala Didi, Sundar Gopal Prabhu, Bangshiwala Prabhu, Vidyalala Sadidi, and Madhubala Didi, I already saw that. Madhubala Didi is also in Australia, right? I think so. Sundar Gopal says he's up for it. Oh, cool. Wow. That's awesome. All right, so also pronounce to all the devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Jai Devi Prabhu, Krishna Vallabha Didi, Ananda Pradayani Didi, Anuradha Mataji, Vrinda Didi, Krishna Mai Didi, and Janava Didi, everybody else who's there. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you all tomorrow to celebrate Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and it's only by his mercy. He is our access to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Without him, there's no access to these songs. So really, if we don't properly pray to Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and we don't glorify him and pray to him, then these songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur will never have any access to them. They won't have any effect on them. Our Param Gurudev. Yesterday is our Param Gurudev's appearance day, and we were reading about that from Srila Trivikram Goswami. I was just talking about that, right? How Srila Bhakti, he said that our Param Gurudev said, I don't know our Goswamis, our Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, I don't know anything they said. I only know Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And only through him am I able to understand anything that the Goswamis say. So he gives all emphasis to his words, above the words of our Goswamis, because we can't understand the words of our Goswamis directly. So in this way, we pray to Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada that we can begin to even understand one little thing in these songs, and that we can open up our songs so that these songs can enter our hearts and change us. All right, Haribol. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before I end the stream for today? All right. Okay, Krishna Premavati, you can only join for the first 3 days. That's fine. That's totally fine. All right.